Games primarily depend on their gameplay. This is what separates them from film. Gameplay is what the rules of the game are, which is the element of the game that makes it fun. Gameplay should be easy to understand and have the depth to make it fun while also fair. Games that are too difficult tend to turn some people away. A game that is simple to understand can be played by most anyone, and so it will have a larger player base. However, a simple game will only be fun for so long. To make a game fun for longer, the gameplay must have depth, meaning that the rules of the game allow for the player to try new things that are not in the rules. This results in strategies and creative methods of how to use gameplay mechanics. The more things a player can do in the game, and the more options a player has, the more fun they will be able to have in the game. Instead of having depth, a game could have enough rules to have a scripted but long game. This would allow the player to do more things, but these things would be predetermined and might get boring once they've all been done. Deep gameplay instead allows for the players to create new things to do in the game, without the game developers having to make them. An example of this are abilities in the game that interact with each other, creating combinations. Simple rules tend to allow for more creative gameplay, as more complicated rules tend to be more rigid, and don't allow for as many combinations. Gameplay should, in my opinion, be based on the player's skill, not luck or other factors. This makes the game more fair, since a player cannot control luck, and for the game to be fair, the player should not have an inherent advantage. This assumes though that the players have the same amount of skill, otherwise the player with more skill would almost always win. While games based on luck are still valid games, they're not as fair as skill-based games. The more a game is based on skill, the more fair it is, assuming that the game is balanced. The player should be equally matched and should be able to play to the best of their abilities. Neither player should have an advantage that the other player does not have, such as money or tools. Both players could, however, have different advantages, as long as they are equal. For example, players could have different tools as long as neither one is better than the other. Having different but equal gameplay tools offers more variety to the game, while keeping balance. Even if the game is fair and has depth, the game still has to be fun for people to want to play it. This is a subjective matter that depends on each person's taste. However, I believe that everyone enjoys some type of gameplay.